tag. You're it. The window for tag has just opened today. Thank you for the visual. For those who haven't played tag before, we are here. And there's a 24-year-old who, might be tagged, who might be snagged. We don't know. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about that. And if that does happen, if the snag happens, what are the other options on the table? We are live. Greatest 3 p.m. show of all time. It is Boy Green meets Wudi.
Can you guys help us get a jet chant here? Yeah, going.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Come on in. Yeah.
Okay, let's go! J-E-T-S, Jets! Let's go! J-E-T-S, Jets! Let's go! There you go, Woody!
Third Party Thursday.
Chris joining us here on the program with a capital P here on the program.
Jake Asman, come on down. How you doing, good sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, Boy Green is known for having the intro, but Woody, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words, son.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there, baby.
Boy Green. It's Woody.
Welcome to another episode of Boy Green Meets Wudi. It is your boy, James Wudi, and you already know we are Woody, rocking everywhere right here. Super animated, physically animated is the boy who became king, showing those guns. Now we waving, we pointing, and we doing all of the above. You can't see him, Mr. Paul Esden Jr. in the building. We got a great episode. As you know, we've been doing these position episodes, and now we got one that's very timely, very relevant to today.
Damn straight, Woody. You know we got the people covered on the positions. Kama Sutra, baby. Missionary.
Hey,
we got it all going on.
Hey,
we got it all cooking.
Damn.
Hold up. Let them cook. Hold up. Let's go. I'm fired up, Woody. This is going to be a good show. And a tip of the cap to Jared B., our moderator in the chat, who became a Boy Green Espresso Club member earlier today. Yes, sir. Let's go. Appreciate that out there in the audience. So thank you, Jared B. And also a quick detour here, Woody. Okay? Quick detour here. Macho Maine says morals in fantasy football is crazy. He's referencing Boy Green Daily this morning, where I told the story about there are people in a big serious fantasy football league I won't name names. But if that person has a questionable off-the-field situation, if there's a player that has a criminal record or something going on, that fantasy player in my league will not have that player on his roster because he's like, nah, I'm not going to be housing no people like that. And me, I'm the opposite. F you guys, can you win? Can you help me win? Can you help me win chips? Then come on down. Price is right. Well, Tyreek Hill, come on down. Woohoo! Oh, yeah, baby. Screw morals. Hell to the no. So, anywho, just wanted to throw that out there. Wasn't sure. I know you're a fantasy football guy. Wasn't sure if you had a take on that.
Yeah, we actually had this exact conversation a couple episodes ago because we talked about Tyreek Hill. Actually, it was when we did the receivers position.
That makes sense.
I completely separate the two. I don't look up these people's biographies. I have no idea what anybody does. I don't care what anybody does. Do they play football? Okay, how well? All right, cool. You're on the squad, whether it's my fantasy football team or the Jets. I will root for them to be successful on the football field. I do not care or know what happens off the field. Call it ignorance, whatever. Shout out to my guy, though. I want to give a quick shout out because I was specifically thinking about this person. Dano, of course, especially given the topic at hand. I know he's Braylon Allen's biggest fan. And we definitely, I got some words for Braylon. And, of course, Breece will be, he's in the title. We will definitely be talking about Breece. So I was thinking about Day, and I'm so happy that he's here to, see us break it down.
All right. Break it down. Oh, hey.
Okay. I got you. Yo, killing it with the physical.
Okay.
The physical animation. One quick thing.
Yeah.
Yo, I don't know who needs to hear this, but free my guy, man. Free my guy, the GOAT. Michael Jordan, man. Yo, there's some clips going around on the internet. I don't know. Hey, they say my man breaking down ice, yo. Yo, call him the Iceman. All right, forget about George Gervin. Call him the Iceman. All right, free my guy. He is the GOAT. I know he's out here, doing what he feels is right.
Let me just say this, because it's important on these shows to start with an injury report. I have to self-report this one. I had a strained neck this week because when I saw that clip for the first time, I'm like, okay, what? And it was a what? And I went, what the hell? And then upon further review, you start observing a few. You're like, it looks really bad, but then you just think about it, you're like, oh, okay. It looks bad. I mean, obviously a lot of people are yelling about it, but I think it was all, good in the hood. So I'm giving Michael Jordan the benefit of the doubt. Old MJ. It just, I saw that. I haven't said that anywhere. This is my first chance talking about it. But hey, man, look really bad, but MJ, we're here for you.
Yo, appreciate that. And Boy Green and I never agreed. You're going to see that later in this episode.
No. I'm sure.
But here we are. We are both united. With MJ, we stand.
There we go. Okay, so we're going to break down the Jets running backs on the team that are set to leave this offseason or scheduled to become free agents. We're going to talk about the running backs that are still here. But this feels relevant on today's show, and shout out to Wudi for scheduling this appropriately. Quite frankly, that we need to cover the newsiness of this. Today is tag day, as Wudi was indicating earlier. And starting today, Tuesday, February 17th, for a 2-week period that goes through Tuesday, March 3rd, teams are allowed to tag any player on their roster that they see fit that is scheduled to become a free agent. So no one has to be tagged today. I would find it shocking, quite frankly, if anyone was tagged today, because you have the benefit of the next 2 weeks. You don't get bonus points for turning in your assignment early. If the Jets tag Breece Hall today versus on March 3rd, there's no benefit. There's no extra action happening. However, according to Zach Rosenblatt of The Athletic, Breece Hall is likely to be tagged based on all his reporting, and it'll be one of two tags, the non-exclusive or the transition. And quick, education, fast forwarded version. Here's your Spark Notes, kids, if people still do that sort of thing. Okay. The non-exclusive franchise tag means that Breece Hall can search the marketplace for a deal and he could sign an offer sheet with another team. And if the Jets don't match it, another team would have to give up 2 first-round picks. Now, that result is very unlikely, which means the Jets could use it to tag and trade Breece Hall if they wanted to. That number is $14.53 million for the non-exclusive franchise tag. If they transition tag him, it's cheaper. It's $11.5 million, but it sort of works the same way as a non-exclusive, except if he goes to another team and you don't match, you don't get nothing. You don't get a first-round pick, second-round pick, third-round pick. You get no pick. It's actually a guarantee you get no pick, and that player, Breece Hall in this case, would not count towards the comp pick formula. So he'd be automatically removed from that. Now, I think it's unlikely anyway. If he was to leave as a free agent, they would get any comp pick because they're going to spend a lot, but that's neither here nor there. So, Wudi, it looks like it's going to be the non-exclusive or the transition. It sounds like they are going to tag him, though, based on all the reporting. Do you believe that's a right decision or wrong decision, and do you have a preference on the 2 tags?
For me, I can't lie. As you guys all know, anybody who's watched this show at any point before knows I'm a big Breece Hall fan. Sure. I'm trying to extend him without no tag, act like we shoplifting, no tags. Okay. Just, get the deal done. And everybody's happy. But if we got to play that game of tag, then I think the transition tag is it's obviously in Breece's best interest, but I don't think that the team suffers too much because, I really don't think he's getting, a 5-year, $100 million like that's not happening. What we're looking at, I believe, are things that are going to match what the market is saying. So I think they will be able to match whatever deal he gets, and they should be trying. They should be trying. We're gonna talk about the free because if it's not Breece, the options to replace him, in my opinion, are few and far between. So I really think there should be an urgency in that building to match long term, and that's another thing. We need this to be long term, to match whatever deal he gets.
So again, if it was up to you, you would pick transition of the two.
Of the two, but there are other I would try to that's plan A is extending him without the tags. Plan B is a transition tag.
And let me ask you this, Wudi, as a follow-up to that. Do you believe that it is realistic that the Jets could extend Breece Hall? Because, again, technically speaking, they could sign him today to a long-term deal. There's nothing preventing them from doing that. They have that opportunity through March 11th before he becomes an unrestricted free agent. There's a legal tampering period a few days before where other teams can start to enter the octagon officially, without there being any repercussions of any nature, like if the Chiefs or anything wanted to talk to him. So there is that a few days before. Do you think it's realistic that the Jets and Breece Hall could come to a long-term agreement before free agency?
I think it's possible. Am I gonna bet money that it happens? Nah, but it's possible. So that's why I bring it up. I mean, that's what I would be trying to do.
Okay.
I would say it does not seem like the most likely scenario, or a super likely scenario at this time.
Yes, and also another nugget. Shout out to Zach Rosenblatt for all of this information. And this shouldn't be surprising news, but that Breece wants to hit the open market. He has every desire to hit the open market. And obviously, unless the Jets franchise tag him, he will reach the open market of his choice. That's the only way the Jets guaranteed have a way to prevent him from reaching it there. Personally, I would pay up if they're going to tag him, and I highly recommend that they do. I would do the non-exclusive tag, and I would make sure that there's no path that I can lose him for nothing. Because technically, this is a whole nother thing and probably worthless to bring up, but it's happened in the past. The Carolina Panthers back in the day, they franchise tagged Josh Norman, and then they rescinded the tag later. A very unique situation. He ended up going to Washington. When you do that, you also guarantee that no compensation happens, which doesn't make a lot of sense. It's very rare that sort of situation presents itself. But I would tag him because it opens up opportunities. It should be noted that whether they transition tag him or franchise tag him, you can tag and trade a player with either of those tags. So that's possible. But again, if I'm a team, and he gets transition tagged, I say to myself, I don't have to give up any picks. I'm just going to make whatever the contract is very difficult for the Jets to match. I'm going to make it uncomfortable for them to match. That's what I would attempt to do, even though the Jets have the fourth most cap space. So it's going to be very hard for a team to do that. But make it uncomfortable for them. Maybe it's a super high cap hit this year, or a super got kicking my gosh darn word straight. A super high cap hit in like year 2 or 3. Like, try to make it difficult, and like the Jets damn, we don't want to pay $25 million or something in year 3 fully guaranteed. Like, maybe a team will be able to be super smart and get cap people on it to put the Jets in a tough situation. So we'll see what happens. But I'd franchise tag him to keep all of my options open and guarantee that I don't lose him for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like their relationship is, I don't want to say thin ice, but clearly it is common knowledge that Breece isn't the happiest person in the locker room. So if they are going, if this relationship is going to continue, then we both need to be happier in the relationship. So giving him what he wants, which is to hit the open market, is a really nice compromise that I think shows good faith toward the player. Oh, see what you're worth. And then, okay, 3 for 36. All right, well, that was fun. Come back to the Jets, and, something like that, so that, you don't want a disgruntled player for no reason. And I think that's an option when go with the franchise tag. So that's another super important. If we're gonna keep somebody, let's make sure that they're a positive influence in the room.
And I think there's a way to balance these two things if I'm the Jets. And here's one of them. With the non-exclusive, Breece Hall can still explore the marketplace. Now, no team is actually going to sign him to an offer sheet because no one would give up 2 first-round picks. Hell, a team wasn't willing to give up a third-round pick for him. So they wouldn't give up 2 ones. But what it would allow Breece to do is if Aaron Glenn or Darren Muji and Breece Hall get in a room and they say, hey, Breece, here's what's going to happen. Over the next 2 weeks, we're going to non-exclusive franchise tag you. But here's our plan. You go seek out the marketplace and find the top 10 teams that want you, whoever they are, and that you guys could work out contract compensation. And we, Jets and the team, will work out trade compensation. Pick wherever you want to go. Chiefs, Ravens, this, that, whatever the list of team names are. Okay. And then we're going to talk to that team and say, hey, it's going to be a 3rd-round pick. Same price as it was a couple of months ago. Whoever meets it, you get Breece. Anyone willing to do it? And Breece gets, hopefully, to a team that he wants to go to that's willing to give up that 3rd-round pick that the Jets always wanted, and it all works out. I also think that there's a path that he can just play out the tag this year, which I'm sure Breece would not be a fan of, or they use it to extend him long-term. If the Jets franchise tag Breece, they have until the middle of July to work out a long-term deal. That's a lot of time to hopefully bridge any gap that there may be and keep him here. So we're going to talk about alternatives in a second. We're going to go through those, and I'm going to talk about who's here and who's not. So there's a path to him still staying. There's also a path to him leaving in a potential tag and trade scenario.
Yes, that would be. I don't like speaking, dramatically, but it would be kind of catastrophic for that to happen.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you have it. Well, let's hope not. Let's hope that the Jets do not lose Breece Hall and that they're able to retain his services. And again, they will have the opportunity to do so. Wudi, with that being said, let's talk about the free agents that are set to leave or scheduled to leave. And of course, Breece is on this list, of course, but the Jets can franchise tag him to prevent that from happening. Khalil Herbert, Kene and Nwanwu, who, of course, both running back and special teams return man. He hasn't gotten a lot of carries in his career, so perceive him in any way. But pass the biscuits here on Herbert, with all due respect. And then Kene and Nwanwu, try to bring him back as a return man, although you have Isaiah Williams dirt cheap. So I don't know if they'll pay 2 returners. That's sort of interesting. Isaiah's cheap for now, but eventually I imagine he's going to want a deal. So the Jets can worry about that later. But I would try to bring back Nwanwu. We have the greatest special teams unit of all time. I want to bring everyone back from that group and try to run it back. And then we obviously just talked about Breece.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Nwanwu is pretty high up on my priority list as well. I mean, he as a returner he's incredible. I mean, we just seen, like you just said, one of the best special teams units in the history of the NFL, and I don't know why we would mess that up. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring our guy back, keep that train rolling, and keep having the most lethal return in the NFL.
Did you pour one out for Khalil Herbert, or?
I didn't even see his name on there. I'm looking at Kene, I'm looking at Breece. Those are our guys. We gotta try our best to bring them back.
All right, that's fair enough. Wudi had a one running back with the first name that starts with a K quota to meet, and he already picked Kene. So sorry, Khalil. You are voted off the island. So sorry, Khalil Herbert. Pour one out. Which means our running back room, this is kind of crazy, Wudi, but it's 2 guys. It's Braylon Allen and Isaiah. And that's it. That's all that's in the room. Braylon Allen is coming off of very serious knee surgery, obviously, and then Isaiah Davis was healthy at the end of the year, the Jackrabbit. Relatively speaking, I guess he did get hurt at the end of the year, but it was minor. It was a concussion situation. So, yeah, that's the room, which hopefully highlights how important Breece is. And if they do something crazy with Breece, tag and trade or whatever, how important it is to, oh, my goodness, we need someone else. Because to me, I'm going to just be blunt here. I know a lot of Jet fans were super high on this combo of Braylon and Isaiah, me included, obviously, if you watched our recap of the prediction show. I'm not satisfied with this room. This is not good enough. The Jets, if they somehow lose Breece in this, the running back is a very important hole to fill for the Jets, especially with the identity of this team being running the football, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I kind of called it catastrophic to lose Breece. I'm not, saying that Braylon and Isaiah are cheeks. There's a lot of players on this team that are just straight, dookie, which happens to also be the name of the. Anyway, we're not going to go into the coaching staff, but yeah, they are straight, ass, but they are not ass. They're just not nearly good enough to, be or serve the identity of what this team is trying to be. They're trying to ground and pound. Braylon Allen, Breece gets so much criticism. I'm literally looking at the comment section right now of all this criticism, but somehow this dude Braylon Allen, I think, to answer your Holmes, Braylon Allen might be the most overrated player on this team. Because I feel like people, they keep talking about him like he is, Derrick Henry, like, he about to, like you just said, people overrating that duo of Breece and Braylon. And Breece has showed up. Like, Breece has had multiple seasons where he looked like that dude. And Braylon, he hasn't, he's had plays. He had plays his rookie year. He had plays this sophomore year where, that was a nice play. But I don't even think he's had like a game. The Dolphins, ironically, that was the one game where it seemed like he was about to have a game, and then he got hurt. Well, he fumbled, and then so yeah. So there's it's crazy how this fan base works, and you guys criticize the real stars, and then you guys will fight me to the death on Aaron Glenn and like all these bums like. So it's funny how you guys choose, who to attack and who to support. But Braylon Allen, he hasn't shown me that he is even RB2. Like right now, going into this season, Isaiah might be my RB2. He might be my RB2. So Braylon, he's got to show me a whole lot because he showed me, plays, but not games. Isaiah Davis has had better games than him. And we got to find that true RB1.
When you were saying that, like, has Braylon had a game? And I'm like, damn, has he had a game? And then I thought about it for a second. And the first game that popped in my head was week 2, Jets-Titans 2024, Aaron Rodgers. They started the first 2 games on the road. There was San Francisco at Tennessee. I'm like, I remember Braylon making history, and he did. He became the youngest player in NFL history to score 2 touchdowns. But the overall numbers aren't wow. He had like 30 yards rushing and 20 yards receiving. So he had 50 plus. I'm not trying to underrate it, but 50 total yards from scrimmage and 2 touchdowns. He just had cool touchdown plays, but like that, even the game I thought, was that a game? No, it wasn't. So to your point, Isaiah Davis, the Jackrabbit, has certainly had better overall game. Hell, what was it? The Cincinnati game or something where he had that 50-yard run down the right hash. Where I'm like, holy shit, is he going to the house? And I think he got pulled short. So like, yeah, he's had maybe you're right. Jackrabbit stock up, which my pop and your pop would be very high on. Obviously, big Isaiah Davis guy. So, yeah, Braylon Allen, he's got a lot to prove. We saw him in a pair of shorts, all swole up, and we're like, ooh, oh wow, he trained with Derrick Henry. Woo! But the proof is in the pudding. So we're gonna need some TLC there for certain. There's no question about it here. Let me highlight a super chat coming in here from one of your favorites. No question about it. That is DNY for life, my pop's favorite shipmate here. Every time I get a super chat here from my daughter, Zariah Luna. Wow. I think Wudi is related to Alon. Same energy, SMH. Oof, he is, for those who are not, inside baseball here jokes, Alon is perceived as a negative, pessimistic fan. If anyone considers him a fan among our fan base, I certainly do. If you show passion for this, you're a fan, in my opinion. But yikes, man, the knives are coming out for you here, Woodster.
People just don't like the truth. You literally just, after what I just did, you literally just said, damn, that could be true.
That's true.
I'm just saying the truth. Some people don't like it. Some people can handle it.
Yeah, apparently not. The truth shall set you free. 13 raffle tickets, by the way, DIY for life. Appreciate that. All right, Woody. Oh, before I do that, look at the Whoa, Jake Asman, a double dip today. He gifted a membership on Boy Green Daily, gifted a membership on Boy Green Meets Wudi. Wow, okay. Jake Asman representing, baby. The pile, a membership from the legendary Jake Asman, doing some ESPN New York this week with my boy Ty Butler. So again, ESPN New York's got a couple of franchise players themselves. I see that. By the way, went to Dan Hops. You are now a member of the Boy Green Coffee Club. Shout out to Jake Asman, the great Jake Asman, for joining us. Jake Asman, by the way, will join us on the MC Show digital channel manana. And shout out to the MC Show digital channel. They just surpassed 600 subscribers and growing after that Ian O'Connor interview. So salute to the very popular MC Show digital channel. Appreciate that. All right, let's get one more in here, Woody, before I give you some trivia action. Hennessy Heisman with a member shout out. Beautiful. We need some more positivity around here.
Wow.
Hennessy Heisman, a member for 14 months. I can't wait to meet Hennessy Heisman in person because that Jersey game is clean as hell. That's like one of the coolest avatars of all time with his Jersey game. And he says, the truth is we're going to suck either way. That's what we need. A little bit more. Hennessy Heisman. That's it. That's what's lacking from this fan base. So Hennessy, thank you.
That's so funny. You said a little bit of positivity is what we need, and then proceeded to read that. But that is pretty true. It's probably true. But if we do it the right way, we can make something happen in 2027 with the right coach.
All right, Woody. So we're going to play a game. If you guys are new to this, we're doing all these positional breakdowns, and I give Woody 2 whacks at the trivia pinata. It's not like trivia like jet knowledge, really. It's just, it just sort of, I don't even know what you would study to know this information, but I just give him a chance to do the trivia anyway. Daniel Jeremiah released a top 50 big board, and I want to know how many running backs do you think made it on this list? Top 50 prospects in the 2026 NFL Draft. How many running backs are on the list, Woody?
I'm going to have to go with 2.
Well, Woody, it's been a very long time since you nailed it. Free blind squirrel finds a nut. A broken clock is right twice a day.
No, I've been one off every time. I've either gotten it right or been one off. Yeah.
Very nice, Woodster. Yes, and their teammates. Jeremiah Love is crazy. The number 2 overall player on Daniel Jeremiah's big board. To talk about the talent that this man has. And then his teammate, Jadarian Price. The price is right, motherfucker. He is 43rd on the list. Jadarian Price, Jeremiah Love, the Notre Dame Golden Domers are well represented. But it's only 2, Woody. That's 2. And then talk about the gap. 2 and then 43. And so that just, speaks to the running back class, which may be a little lacking overall in April's draft, which goes back to your point you just said, Woody. We'll get into the pro personnel market in a second, but to your point of like clear, obvious upgrades for Breece, I don't know if they're overflowing.
Well, definitely not in the draft class. I wasn't even, obviously Love would be, I might even be an upgrade, but given our situation as a team, I would become physically ill if they drafted with those first 4 picks. I mean, I keep saying it. Every position show, I keep saying the same thing. Defense. We need defense. The only exception I'm willing to accept is a wide receiver in one of those 4 because I understand the importance of potentially having a long-term duo for our 2027 QB. So that's okay. But other than that, get out of here, man. Defense. You know what I'm talking about? That's what we got to do with those first 4.
Okay. Hey, someone showed me a mock. Lou B brought it up this morning of like defense with the first 4 picks. And then it was just great values. Who knows how realistic things are? We're in February, but it was just boom, 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 boom. All these impact guys. I'm like, well, we could use it. So very nice. Okay, Wudi, you're on a hot streak, baby. You're at the crabs table. You can't do no wrong. Let's see if you can do it again. Can lightning strike twice in the same place? We're about to find out all together. Let's go to the ESPN Top 50 Big Board, baby. How many running backs grace the top 50 overall free agents that are set to hit the market? Let me know, James gosh darn Wudi.
So I have 5 that I've said
right.
These are people that I would be okay with being the RB1 for the Jets this year. That's me. I have 5. They have to be in the top 50.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 4.
Okay. Is that your final answer? Would you like to lock that in?
Pop, lock it, drop it.
Boop, boop, boop. I wish you didn't know because you dead wrong.
What I do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Wish Wudi was built for counting, but apparently not. We're looking for 6, baby. 6 are inside the top 50.
Well, shout out Johnny Boy. He got it right.
Oh, did he? Okay, let's where's old John? Oh, there you go. Johnny
Yes, yes.
Boy. Hit him
Damn,
with
I
that combo. You should have. Hey, Wudi, you know this. We don't always talk about it on the show, but when you enter this game show, I give you 3 lifelines. One of them is phone a friend. Another one's ask the audience. You could have went to one of your lifelines. You're trying to save them for later in the show for some Final Jeopardy grand prize or something. I'm not sure, but you could have used a lifeline, pal. You could have.
Well, noted for next time. Great job, Johnny Boy. Well, I've been 1 off all the time, so that's what I was thinking in my head. 5. So you could either go 1 up, 1 down.
Yes, it could have led you to the Canyon of Heroes. It could have. It was almost. So Johnny Boy.
It's Jets, Jets. I love Fireman Ed too.
God bless America. Appreciate
Next head
Johnny.
coach, who knows?
Oh, hey now. There you go. I knew Wudi was a Chucky guy. All right, so let's go piece by piece. Okay, let's go piece by piece and go through the pro personnel. These are guys that are on the top 50 big board at the running back position, so potential options for the Jets. All right, let me tell you about some of these names on the list here, Wudi. I think some of these names may make you change your mind. Okay,
about what?
I think some of these names. Well, I don't know about something. Let's just let's get into it. Okay.
Well, let me just say something. So now you know what you would potentially be changing. For me, I am looking to this offseason secure a franchise running back for the next 3 years, right? I think there are only 2 people that fit the bill, and one of them is already on the team. We gotta, just extend him or tag him or do something, right? And then there's somebody else. I think we all know who that somebody else is. Below that, there are 3 other guys who I don't think would be like the franchise. Like I think those first 2 guys, their best games are ahead of them. These guys, they should be solid, and help out a young QB, but I wouldn't say they have potential to be top 10 for the next 3 years the way that I think Breece and that other person do. So that is how I built that 5. There's a tier A, like, yo, we have hit the jackpot. This is amazing. And then there's 3 that's like, okay, like our QB, we'll be fine with this guy, but, he's not going to be much better than he is right now.
All right, so I'm going to describe this player for you, okay? This is a guy that has over 5,000 total scrimmage yards in his career. He has 27 total touchdowns. This guy is a freak. He's only 24 years of age. What do you think about this guy? Jets may want to consider this guy. It is Breece Hall, baby. Breece Hall, 7th on the list. He is the top rated running back on the big board, and he is a top 10 overall free agent in this class. What about that Breece Hall guy, Woody? Should the Jets sort of sink their teeth in on this guy? Huh?
All you guys talking about overrated, all the nonsense that you have spewing, all the energy you have put through your fingers to type these words of hate. Look at what whoever just made this list, I can't remember if it's Dane Brugler or Daniel Jeremiah. Look at what this person has said about Breece Hall. And he is by far the best running back option. He is the youngest. He has such a versatile range of skills. He is the best. And again, his best seasons are ahead of him. Somebody brought up James Cook. Oh, he's not in that same caliber. Blah, blah, blah. James Cook, when he was 24, he was not having what Breece was doing right now. Breece has already been in the league way longer. I mean, not to say, James Cook was solid, but he was not Breece level. He has blossomed since, and that's what I'm expecting from Breece, is to blossom since age 25, age 26, age 27. We are going to see a man entering his prime, and I hope it's in Gotham Green.
Yeah, James Cook was in the same draft class as Breece. They both came in 2022, but James is older. He's 26, and he's going to be 27 in September. Breece is 24. He'll be 25 in May. So interesting stuff there. Again, obviously, James Cook just led the league in rushing, so tip of the cap to one James Cook. Let's go to the next name on the list. So Breece Hall is a top-rated running back. It's not just some whatever show I just did. He is the top-rated running back and a top 7 overall player, regardless of position, on the ESPN big board here. Let's go to the next running back on this list. And we got to scroll a while here, Woody, before you find the next one. The next highest-rated running back on this list is Travis Etienne at number 18 on the list. He'll be 27 by the start of the 2026 season. And again, a little bit of a blurb here from ESPN on him. He looked explosive in 2025. His 26 rushes of 10 yards or more was tied for 12th most in the NFL. He's more than capable as a receiver out of the backfield. He had 36 catches in 2025. And so all these numbers, he can run the ball, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. What about Travis Etienne, former first rounder, former Clemson product? What do you think about him?
He is one of the guys in that lower tier that I mentioned. The one of the three in that tier. I think he is good in both the run and the pass. I wouldn't bet money that his best days are ahead of him, but I think he can do what he's already done for a few more years. So I would not be mad at Travis Etienne.
I wouldn't be either. I like Travis a lot. It's funny, and I'll pull up the numbers to make sure because I remember it in my head, but I want to make sure I have this up here for Travis. I'm fairly certain of this statistic, and I am. So Breece finally got over 1,000 yards this season, and we talk about all the drama of how he was close before this, that, or the other, and injuries. Travis has had 1,000+ yard rushing season in 3 of his 4 years. Breece finally got one at the end of his 4 years. So there's been a lot of production here, touchdowns all over the place for Travis. He runs the ball. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. It'd be weird to me, though, if Jacksonville doesn't keep Trevor Lawrence and his former teammate together. They're trying to win. Why? It's sort of like, I guess, anyone who has a red flag, if the Jets move on for Breece, like, why are you moving on for Breece? Why are you moving on for Travis? Maybe it's just cap situations. We don't know everything that happens in that building. But, yeah, he'd be very high on my list. If the Jets, there's no world where Breece and Travis Etienne are both on the team for the Jets. I think that's sort of obvious. So if they did go in a non-Breece direction, you can do a lot worse than Travis Etienne, man. I think he's still got a lot of tread on the tires.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying. But, I just don't see him as long-term as obviously, Breece is 24, So I just don't see him as long-term. But definitely, for this season, next season, yeah.
Okay, let's go with some hardware. This is the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker III, the 3 most dangerous letters in the National Football League. Kenneth Walker III.
What are the 3 letters?
KW3. or I guess one's a number.
Oh, yeah,
Come on,
yo,
Woody,
damn.
Can you stop with the logic and all your like? What the? That doesn't even just go. Shut
My
up,
bro.
Woody. Now let me just get it off my chest. Good
No,
lord.
as legal education showing up. No.
Anywho, here's some more details on old Kenneth.
Oh, you need more? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
He'll be 25, so this guy's super young.
Yeah, we
so
know
we
that.
talk about Breece, right? He will be 20. Breece will be 25 at the start of 2026 season. So will Kenneth. So we're both super young guys. Kenneth had 33 rushes of 10 yards or more. That was sixth best in the National Football League this season as well. Also, he had at least 25. He's had at least 25 catches in all 4 of his seasons. So there's some pass catching upside here with Kenneth. There's obviously the explosive running that we've seen as well, and we just saw that playoff run, which was awesome. So what do you think about KW3? The Seahawks, apparently, according to Adam Schefter, will not be tagging Kenneth. They're going to be focusing their money in different areas of the team.
I'm thinking this list was made before the Super Bowl or something. Kenneth Walker is the one that I thought was obvious was the person that was putting on the same tier as Breece. Like you just said, he is 25 years old. So we're talking about 24, 25. Their best games, in my opinion, or best years are ahead of them for both of them. Kenneth, like you said, oh my God, incredible runner. Always has been, but injuries have been an issue. More so, I would say, than like he's been, injured a whole bunch. All of us fantasy football managers were so mad that, Charbonnet was, such an active part of their game plan, but it seemed to work out brilliantly because Kenneth was fresh and he completely dominated the NFL playoffs and definitely raised his stock dramatically. I would imagine that if somebody made this list now, that he would be at the top. That's how good of a run he had in the playoffs. But he's not the pass catcher that Breece is. He's not the route runner that Breece is. So a little bit, I don't want to say one-dimensional, but obviously just not as much of a dual threat as Breece or some of the other guys we're going to talk about. But he is definitely in that top tier of 2 guys, Breece and Kenneth. If the Jets were to walk away with either one of those, I would do a back handspring.
Does the durability concerns scare you at all with Kenneth?
I mean, it's not great, but I would, I would kind of be comfortable rolling the dice, especially since you have Braylon and Isaiah Davis. Like, you have guys to spell him, like how Charbonnet was used to give him rest. So that I would just steal from that playbook of, okay, we got, this drive is going to be Isaiah's drive or Braylon's drive if he can prove something. So no, like it's something worth thinking about. But we've seen guys come. Saquon, right, was injured toward this ACL, toward that ACL, and he's been chilling for the Eagles. Like I think sometimes you got to take that leap of faith.
Yeah, I mean, Kenneth is a beast. Again, the youth I love a lot. The championship of him rallying and being again Super Bowl MVP. It sort of speaks for itself, being a straw that stirred the drink for this team to win the Super Bowl. I'm curious on how crazy money's going to get for these guys with there being so many names. Again, 1, 2, 3. We mentioned 6 in the top 50. Does that make some people more frugal on spending? Because, hey, there's 6 of them. I don't need to go crazy for the top guy. Like, the money will sort of level out for everybody, as opposed to if there are only 1 or 2 really strong guys, do those guys get overpaid and then everyone else sort of struggles? I'm sort of curious how this market will develop. But, yeah, KW3. If the Jets end up with some Kenneth Walker action, oh, yeah, you could sign me up, baby. All right, let's go to another guy on this list. Let's go down. We only have to go down a few slots. 29 on the list is a guy that ran buck wild over us in week 5. We saw it in person, Woody. Javonte Williams, 29th on this list of the Dallas Cowboys. He signed a 1-year hobo change in the cup contract with the Dallas Cowboys after his years with Denver, and he exploded on the scene. I mean, Javonte Williams was awesome this year. He will be 26 heading into the 2026 season. And again, that explosiveness looked back for him. He finished with a career high 1,200 rushing yards this year. He had 26 carries of 10 or more rushing yards. He averaged 2.6 yards after contact, which again, that was prevalent, unfortunately, at the end of the first half when he trucked a Jets defender that took him like 80 yards to the hizzy. And so very nice. And he had 35 catches this year. So you saw some of that pass catching action back from his old days, Carolina.
Yeah, I was just about to reference those days because I live so close to the campus.
Yes, of course, right.
So I saw him and Michael Carter, low key, former Jet. They did their thing. So I like Javonte, but I'm definitely very scared. I personally would not. I would just look the other way. I really would. He was operating in what was one of the best offenses in the entire NFL. Dak, obviously, he always fills a stat sheet. You had CD, George Pickens, both had phenomenal seasons. Nobody in the box, and it was a very high scoring offense. Plenty of lanes for Javonte to run through. That is not at all what's going to be the case in New York. I think it would be so classic. This is like classic Jets to, hype up what Javonte did in Dallas and then bring him here. And then all the fans that are hyping him up, like, damn, we got a stud. Like, oh my God, like, yo, Breece, have fun. In Houston, we got Javonte now. And Javonte is not anything what he was like in Dallas because the Jets don't have CD, Pickens, Dak. They don't have none of that. Javonte gets bottled up, stuff in the box every single time, while Breece has a career year in the Texans. That's literally classic Jets. And then these same people like JD Surf City are mad confused, like, oh, what, why, like, what happened? Oh no, not like a specific comment. I'm just saying.
Just a general.
Talking. So I personally would steer clear of Javonte.
I like Javonte a lot. Again, I imagine and I don't blame him for wanting this. He's going to want to cash in after being a rookie. What was he, a second round pick? Is that right for Javonte? If you remember?
Probably, yeah.
I'll double check that because I want to have that information. But no, this is a guy that came into the league without getting paid.
He was, confirm.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so he was a second round draft choice. So again, I don't need anyone pulling out the violins. How is this guy going to get food on his table tonight? That's not what I'm doing. I'm just saying he second round pick, so 4-year standard rookie contract, signs for peanuts last year to sign with the Dallas Cowboys, and then he has this awesome year. Now I think he's like, hey, running back lifespan is short as hell. I'm ready to cash in. And I'm not sure if this is the guy I want to cash in on. I think he's a really good running back, and I think we're going through a lot of list of names that are really good running backs. I'm not sure if Javonte would be at the top, but I really like what I saw last year. So, he'd be on my list, but he wouldn't be at the top of my list. Let's put it that way. Let's go to a former Dallas Cowboys running back, Rico Dowdle. Oh, yes, it was the year of the Rico. If you checked your Chinese calendar, there was the year of the Rico Dowdle here in 2025. He'll be 28. He's one of the older guys on this list. He'll be 28 by the start of the 2026 season. He rushed for over 1,000 yards. He had 26 carries of 10 yards or more. He worked it in the middle. He did some explosive runs, top speed. He had in some of those big runs that he had this year. He also had 39 catches, which tied a career high. So again, receiving game, that's going to be prevalent for a lot of these running backs who are at the top of this list, guys that can contribute in a lot of ways. The age thing sort of scares me. And I don't know if this scares me or not. It was just interesting that he noted this. One of the big things Rico said he will be considering in free agency is he wants to be the man. In Carolina, it took him forever to get past Jabba Hubba, who was there in the backfield. And when he was in some of those end of season press conferences, he was like, I want to make sure I'm the 1A. And, I'm the 1A of a 1B, and there ain't no 1B. He wants to be the bell cow. So you'll probably have to factor that into what the Jets may or may not want to do. So that'd be interesting if he fits what they're looking for. And again, older on the age. If that factors into price in a good way for the Jets, maybe that's more of a value.
I didn't, obviously I've never seen this list, so I didn't see that nugget about the wanting to be the top dog, but it was very clear based on what unfolded this past year, that he felt that he deserved to be the top dog. And I wholeheartedly agreed. My man had like 600 yards in 2 games, you know.
That's crazy. Man.
So Rico is actually one of my guys in that second tier next to ETN. So we've uncovered 4 of the 5 guys that I had personally highlighted, right? Breece and Kenneth at the top, ETN and Rico. Rico can do it all. He is a good pass catcher, and there's just a chip on his shoulder of just from being doubted, I think. That is kind of like a superpower for him. You know, we saw several games where I can't even remember who the quarterback was. I believe it was Cooper Rush, but don't quote me on that. The Cowboys, like when Dak was hurt last year, and they had to end those few games with a different quarterback. Rico was still putting in work. He actually carried my fantasy football team to the championship that year on that team where the offense was not really humming like that. So he's proven to me he can do it on a bad team. Obviously, Carolina made the playoffs, but they still had a losing record. So he can do it, on a better team. I think he can do it with the Jets. I think he would give us a great year. And maybe, a couple of others. Again, I don't think his best years are ahead of him, just like what I said about ETN. But I think the ETN that we know, the Rico Dowdle that we just saw the last, season and a half, that person is coming to the Jets. So we would have success. And he would make things easier for that QB that we hopefully draft next year.
And again, here's the things that we don't know as we're talking versus what the players want. Is he willing at what will be his 28 age season in 2026? Is he willing to sign like a 2-year deal? If so, I'm intrigued. Once we start, but he may want it, right? This is from what I would do to what he is going to want to do, and these may be differing, opposing, parallel lines here. So we'll sort of see. That I'd be intrigued with the short-term deal potentially with Rico. And then there's one name left on the list, Woody.
Well, I just want to say, I think he wants to be the man, and he wants to get paid. I think we have the resources to get him paid, and I think. No one should be scared of Braylon Allen taking a snap, having a real big impact. He is the clear 1A of the squad. So I think it's a glove-like fit if we lose out on Breece.
Okay, fair enough. And I appreciate that additional nugget there, Woody. Again, by the way, real quick, let's give a plug, everybody. Well, 2 things here. First off, for Jim CBW, I think I've seen him here a few times on Twitter. Twitter and StreamYard are going through some issues. So I know this may be more difficult for our normal Twitter viewers to be watching this show. So the numbers are getting affected. They're fluctuating because of this. So Twitter and StreamYard are attempting to work out that issue. So shout out to Jim, who's going out of his way. I see he just commented in seconds ago for still chiming in. So apologies to anyone that normally enjoys the show in that way. Hopefully you're finding it in a different way. Instagram for Woody, Take Flight Talk, Boy Green 25 on YouTube and Facebook. This is also a reminder why it's best served to be watching on one of those, because on YouTube you can set notifications so you never miss a video. So it may be the better way to do it, as they're unfortunately going through some issues right now. But again, shout out to Jim CBW for still being able to find the show regardless. Woody, do you want to give a shout out to anybody before we go through the last name on this list? Take Flight Talk people, some of your grammars. What are you calling your people? I don't know, the little grandma Woody.
I thought you were talking about my grandmother. I was like, yo, she passed, man. But it's an IG.
Sorry,
it was years ago. But this comment of when is AG Muji gonna build something by M. Villette.
Yeah.
I think the best answer is when they get a Lego set. All right, they can put those blocks together and try to build some sort of like Star Wars replica or something like that. So that's probably the best. Thank you so much, Holmes, giving love to Grammy. I appreciate that. But yeah, we'll see if they can get a Lego set. My IG, I can't lie, I feel bad because I did not see some comments right here. Who we talking about tagging, and now they've left because I was not answering their questions. So the grammars, I apologize. I will be more attentive to. I promise I'll be more attentive to your questions in real time. And it looks like we got a super chat.
Okay, yeah, let's go to it. Macho Talk Sports, a $2 super chat. Let me make sure I get this right. How Woody says it, baby.
Wow.
There we go. I still have hope for Braylon Allen. I believe Macho Talk Sports. The real question is, Woody, do you believe?
But I choose to believe that it is. I believe. I believe. I believe.
I believe.
I believe.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. Wasn't ready for that Stranger Things clip. That was a rough rough thing to watch. But do I believe? Well, I mean, there's a chance. Like, I'm not saying get rid of him. I didn't bring out the scissors. I'm just saying that you guys, all of you that are not me, have overhyped him, overrated him, like wildly overrated him, thinking that he was Derrick Henry. And right now, we don't even know if he's, Henry Ford. So we gotta figure that out. We gotta figure out what's happening. But Macho, all I gotta say is that I hope you have as much faith in the great Michael Jordan as you do Braylon Allen.
I didn't know we were going to get that sort of connective tissue today, but thank you. Yes, I believe in Braylon Allen still, but we'll see. I think the Jets will say themselves how much do they believe in Braylon Allen, because we heard a lot from Connor Hughes before the season, NFL insider for SNY, that the Jets, I don't want to put it on the Jets, he said maybe Braylon Allen's better than Breece, and that caught a lot of what? And there was a lot of that noise, and there was a thought that if Braylon never got hurt, that Breece would have been traded at the deadline. So there's a lot of hoopla. We're about to find truth serum is being shared at One Jets Drive because the truth is in action. Do the Jets tag and trade Breece Hall away and then just get some, maybe not even one of these top 6 names that we talk about, they get some other random name and, hey, Braylon, you're the bell cow? Well, that would say to me, they believe we're doing the Stranger Things thing. They believe, but if they just turn around and get Kenneth Walker, I don't think they believe in Braylon. If you're doing that, I don't know.
Well, if we talking about that, then I definitely don't believe that would be that would be another, like, as a matter of fact, at that point, it's just like, all right, we counting down the days until this dude gets fired. If that's what they do, like that would, oh my God. At that point, I might have to show Muji the door too, though. I'm trying to get away for it just to be Aaron Glenn, and then Muji can bring in his boy KOC. Then we just fly a unicorn into the sunset. But I mean, if they do something like that, then they both gotta go.
By the way, Macho says I've lost faith in MJ. Oh, sorry. We'll leave that where it may be. Last one to go through here, Woody, just squeaking in the top 50 at 49 is. Do you want to attempt to guess, Woody? Do you think you know who this is?
No. I mean, there are some names.
Okay.
I don't. It's definitely not the person that's in my second tier.
Okay.
If they say Najee Harris, they're bugging. Like, they are really bugging. It could be what's his name, J.K. Dobbins. He had a pretty solid year. So I'll go with that. I'm gonna go with J.K. Dobbins.
No, JK, not the case, as a matter of fact. Kenneth Gainwell of the Pittsburgh
What?
Steelers.
Yep.
Yeah, here it is. Here's the blurb. Kenneth Gainwell will be 27 by the start of the 2026 season. Change of pace runner, caught a career high 73 receptions this season. Vital piece on third downs, produces on backfield releases, can draw positive matchups in flex formations, and he would hit a rotation that caters to dual threat traits. Kenneth Gainwell, by the way, 73 receptions last year. Holy crap, that's nice. I didn't realize it was that good. Kenneth Gainwell cracking a top 50, which apparently Wudi is incredibly offended by. Please go on, Wudi.
Well, whatever he gets in the offseason, he owe 80% of that to Aaron Rodgers, because that is the only reason why we're having this conversation. Or I guess you could say the Steelers GM, because the fact that they only had one receiver out there, and it's DK Metcalf, who can't run routes, is actually the reason why that Rodgers had to pump his running backs with so many targets the whole year. Every single play, it's a running back screen, because he has nothing going on more than 5 yards down the field. DK is one of the most overrated receivers in the league, and they don't have anybody across from him. So, if the this is another one that this is tied with putting Braylon as an RB1, is thinking that Kenneth Gainwell is going to be reliable RB1 for the squad.
Well, let me throw this out there as a possible. I don't know if the Jets are going to do this. If they perceive and say, hey, Braylon can be the guy, Kenneth and Isaiah can be, it's Benny and the Jets. Benny. We have Benny and the Jets.
What did I just say about Braylon being RB1? Are you even listening?
You said Kenneth. I know, but you just said Kenneth could be RB1. That's you compare that to your Braylon situation of being RB1. I'm saying Braylon's the top guy. Kenneth is the side piece.
Yeah, but I've been saying, if Braylon is not RB1, he cannot be RB1 no matter what.
He shouldn't be. I agree.
No matter what. So I'll bring up my
okay, please.
Honestly, now I'm thinking JK is a little underrated. I thought he would have made the list, because he's actually good. He was solid in Denver, but that's another person who injuries.
Did he ever come back from the injury? I don't know this. It's not some trivia game. I have no idea.
No,
he got hurt halfway through. Okay, so he did.
Yeah, he did not.
Maybe that's why, I guess.
He so that stinks. But a really interesting name to me, at least, I guess to nobody else in the world. But think about it, is Tyler Algier, actually.
Ooh, yeah.
He is somebody who was the RB1 in Atlanta, and he had a good year. It's not even like he had a bad year or anything. But the Falcons had a generational opportunity to add one of the most talented running backs this century, and they pounced on it, which, you can't blame them for, and they're obviously extremely happy with Bijan. But when Algier was the bell cow, he did have 1,000 yards. He had a few catches. This is somebody who I think is super untapped. I think he is an RB1 that has just been buried under, again, a generational talent in Bijan Robinson. If you have Bijan in fantasy, like I have the last 2 years, you would know that Algier always be on that goal line, stealing those, vulturing those TDs. So this is somebody who is a finisher, a goal line finisher, a goal line punisher. Obviously great in short yardage situations, but I think, as a 3-down back, he already did it his rookie year. He still, even in Bijan's shadow, gets 600 yards a season. So I think if he had an opportunity to be the guy again, a lot of people would be surprised with his production. So that's another one. Obviously, like a lower floor, right? Because he has been an RB2 the last 3 years. But again, the one time he had a shot, he was fantastic. And he's actually still been, 600 yards, 8 TDs. Like, bro, like that's still something that I think would greatly benefit this team.
More trivia time for you, Wudi. Okay. Tyler Algier and Breece Hall were the same draft class. They both played 4 years. Tyler Algier has carried the ball 676 times in his career. How many times has Tyler Algier ever fumbled?
Low key, I'm so sorry because I had just pulled him up to give you the numbers that I just said.
Yeah.
So I seen that it's 0.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I assume you don't have these numbers up. How many times has Breece
how many times has Breece?
Yeah, he's carried the ball 755 times. So again, note that he's carried it 100 more times, basically, than Tyler Algier. How many fumbles do you think Breece Hall has had in his career?
Is it fumbles lost or just fumbles?
Just fumbles. So it doesn't count recovery or anything. It just counts if you fumbled the ball.
I'm gonna have to go with. I feel like he had like 3 this year, maybe 4, and like 3 last year. I don't recall a fumble in his rookie year. I'm in the area of like 6 to 8 right now. I'm gonna go with 7.
It is 11.
11. Damn. 11. Okay. Yo. Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Because it was. I don't think it was last year. I think it was the year before. He had 6 or 7, which was like up there with Ramondre Stevenson. They were the co-leaders for fumbles or close. So I knew he had 6 or 7 then, and I'm like, damn. How many other? All you need is a few more to get to a crazy number, and so he's fumbled 11 times. But who was it? Yo Holmes who brought it up about Tyler Algier. Like that's just a cool thing about Algier. He doesn't care if he's robbing to someone's Batman. He doesn't care. He's pass protector, never fumbles, rock solid, really good in the red zone. I mean. And he look how underrated he is. He didn't even make a top 50 list for ESPN. That goes to the point. Maybe he's going to be a real nice value. I like the call out. I'm glad you brought it up. Like that sounds like a perfect guy. Like you're just a better football team if you add this guy to your roster. He is a football player, and we need as many football players as possible. So sign me up for some Tyler Algier. To be honest, this entire list: Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, Kenneth Walker, Javonte, Rico, Kenneth. Outside of Breece, who we've talked about earlier, I'd take Algier over any of these guys in terms of like just reliability, man. He'd be on that list for me.
Well, he's on my tier, so I appreciate your positive feedback on my my research, and the 5 that I chose. Hopefully that's further proof to the people on the keyboards that I'm out here. I'm trying to bring y'all the truth. Y'all the truth. Sometimes it hurts when we talking about Aaron Glenn's record, as the Jets, right? That truth kind of hurts, but there are also positive truths, and Garrett's great, stuff like that we can say. And Algier, that might be a really nice, like Boy Green just said, high value add. But any of those 5, I think we should all be happy. Anybody else, that's the sound I'll be making. Javonte, there's all these people. JK, I like JK, but I know he's not playing a full 17, so that stinks.
And think about this. JK, I don't know if you remember this. When he joined the Broncos last year, he joined them in like June or July. Like he was a total afterthought. Yes. And he just joined them late. And people were saying, oh, I wonder if he's going to make the roster, people were saying. And because RJ Harvey was their 2nd round draft choice. And I had JK for like the first half of fantasy, and he was like leading the league in rushing at certain points. And I'm like, God damn, thank you, JK. Appreciate you. And then unfortunately gets hurt and we haven't seen him. But so
I had RJ because I was expecting I was expecting that. So I had RJ on the bench because he was in the slow cooker. And then when it was playoff time, I was in my glee. Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. Do you, if you still have those stats up? I'm having a stat up. I can't quite find it. Mark Sashetti says that Breece leads the league in complaining Twitter posts, but I'm looking at I don't have that stat in front of me. I don't have that
Well,
stat.
as you know, I was looking at Algiers. I never looked at. That's why I didn't know.
Too bad.
But
Sorry.
yeah, you got see, and this is why people leave. And then you guys are like, "Damn, no one wants to stay here." It's because y'all the most disrespectful fan base on the planet. Don't appreciate literally anybody who gives up their body, just for our entertainment. They were like, "Oh, no one stays. No one stays." Like, yeah. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
So thank you, Mark Sashetti. Appreciate that, buddy. Yeah.
But yeah, running back definitely it's important. And again, I want it to be secure. I believe that this season is going to stink. And I pray that when it does, not that when it, I'm saying if it does, pray that if it does, that Woody, cleans house, that we, get in McDermott, get in Chaos, get in one of these guys and draft, Arch is obviously the popular name, but there are plenty of QBs out there to, in the top 10. So when that QB is there, I need to know how I sleep better tonight is knowing that the running back is already there for him. Garrett Wilson's already there for him. Mason Taylor's already there for him. And that O-line is that O-line. So the running back is a key piece of that puzzle. And hopefully, Breece, again, that's my plan. A and B are two different ways to keep Breece. And then plan C would be any of the other four names. I don't think Kenneth Walker is a realistic possibility unless we just wildly overpay, $16 million a year. But the other three, I think they are possibilities. So I guess we'll see what happens at the position. For everyone saying the draft, again, I would not use those first four. I think a lot of you are overrating how difficult it is to find a person on the caliber that we're talking about in the fourth round. Because I keep seeing that, just draft Scatterboo in the fourth. I don't think that's that easy. The last running back that we took that late is that Michael Carter. I'm pretty sure we haven't drafted one late since. And he was solid, but he is nowhere close to the type of caliber of running backs that we're talking about right now. In fact, he is a free agent, and notice nobody said his name until now. So I don't think the draft is an option this year to get the caliber of running back that I'm talking about.
All right, Woody, let's end here, okay? There are three possibilities for this Breece Hall situation based on what we're hearing, okay? Zach Rosenblatt, again, the Jets are likely to use the tag. The tag will either be the non-exclusive or transition based on what Zach Rosenblatt is hearing. Again, we did more of that on the Boy Green Daily this morning. I have a column about it on Heavy on Jets. You guys can check it out. But I believe there are three paths if what Zach says are true. The Jets tag Breece Hall and he plays the season out. He plays it out on the tag. He's a Jet for 2026. We'll figure out the rest later. The Jets tag and trade Breece Hall. They use this as a means to control his rights and immediately trade him to some other team. Or, thirdly, they use the tag, and somewhere between now or whenever the tag is placed and July, they work out a long-term deal with Breece, 3-year deal for insert amount of million. I saw Jim's CBW suggestion earlier, and that could happen. So of those three possibilities, those three paths, tag for this year, figure it out later, tag and trade, or tag that works into a long-term deal before this season, which of those do you think are the most likely to happen?
Damn, you hit me with likely, and it's going to hurt my heart.
Yeah, not your heart. Again, I want what you believe is going to happen. You try to give us all truth. That's your blessing to us. Thank you, Woody, every day. You are supposed to give us truth, whether it's painful or not. What is the truth? What is the most likely of those scenarios to happen?
If they tag him, franchise tag him, I don't know if he would sit out, but he would be so disgruntled.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, maybe he'll be mad. There's no way he could sit out and go Le'Veon Bell. That'd be crazy.
like he would be so disgruntled that there would be no there's no reason to keep him because he would be such an issue. So I would say the most likely is probably, but I also think I actually think that this regime likes him.
They do. I think they clearly do. Muji and AG for that matter. I believe that's true. Yeah.
It's a matter of does he like them or does he
is that a two-way street on that one? That I'm not sure.
Yeah, but the way the transition tag works, it actually doesn't really matter if he likes them because he can find a deal somewhere else and then they just match it. So I'm gonna have to say that is the most likely scenario.
So okay, let me just you're explaining it. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say that transition tag, test the open market. He goes out there, hey yo, I'm a Chief, 3 years, and they're like, skirt, and then match the deal, and he's a Jet. But a very close second, like literally one A, one B. Don't tell Rico Dowdle. Is the option of them tagging and trading.
Can you think about this, right? So for folks, let's explain the transition tag one more time real quick. So if the Jets transition tag Breece, it's for $11.5 million. And that's not super important because he likely would not play on the transition tag. Like someone would likely offer him a deal and then the Jets would either match it or not match it. And then he wouldn't be playing on the 11.5. So 11.5 isn't very important, but it is less than the franchise tag. But can you imagine they transition tag Breece? Breece, you're allowed to go negotiate with any team you want. You could go on free agent visits. You can talk to teams, anything you want. And he goes to the Chiefs. And then they're in the room and they're getting the bubbly ready. It's like, woohoo! 4-year, $40 million. Let's go. What Chief, baby? Chief Pride, Tomahawk. He goes to Twitter. He's tweeting Tomahawk emojis. He's like, yeah, baby. Chiefs Kingdom, rise up. And then the Jets, the fax just came through. Wait a second. Breece's agent's like, hey, Breece, there's been an update. Yeah, the Jets are. My question here is this, Woody, as a follow-up. Does any team hesitate? So this would be a different situation because it's non-exclusive to transition, but the thought is the same. Lamar Jackson received the non-exclusive franchise tag a couple of years ago. Any team could have signed him. And if the Ravens did not match, they would have had to give the Ravens 2 first-round picks. And with Lamar winning an MVP later, maybe someone should have. But the fear, according to all the insiders, is that a team, if they negotiated with Lamar, they're negotiating the deal that the Ravens are just going to match. So we're doing the hard work for the Ravens. We're talking to Lamar. You want this structure, you want this bonus, you want this. And Ravens just go, no. And they did no work. Oh, perfect. Lamar, that's the contract you want? Thanks, buddy. Hey, Saints. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you. So does any team, right? They're swimming in the transition tag waters. If the Chiefs are like, we got Breece. Let's get hard negotiations with Breece. Let's hammer this out over the weekend and just go match. Does any team hesitate in the if they transition tag him? Does any team in the league start going like, oh, I don't know if I should do this? Because like if they just match, it was all for nothing. That's what I'm curious about.
I think if you want, if it's worth the juice is worth the squeeze, right? That's what keeps people squeezing every day. And I think if you want Breece and you think he would be a big help, I really look at the Texans. I think he would change the Texans' life. But I think you do offer it. I think the reason for pause, yes, was that for the Ravens, but it was also, like you said, the injury concerns, the longevity concerns. Yes, hindsight, he won another MVP since, but then also this season he's been injured again. Like if Lamar was in that same situation now, I still feel like people would be hesitating because we don't know the long-term health. So with Breece, he's been healthy. Jets fans, for some reason, keep trying to call him injury prone. He tore his ACL, and then he's played in 15 games every season since. So there's nothing, for a rational, objective football observer, there's no concern of that for Breece. They would, back up the trucks so I don't think there's any pause.
All right, there you go. I think what will happen is, so the real thing we don't know is, to your point, does Darren Mooney and Aaron Glenn really want Breece? Like they're not tagging him with any thought of trading him. They're tagging him because they want him. And that's what I'm curious about, because if we go to a transition tag, like, you want him, but not that bad, because you're trying to get him for cheaper. If you're doing the transition, that would be the main reason to do it versus non-exclusive. You save like $3 million, because if you really want him, you're non-exclusive and you're using that either in a tag and trade or because you just want him and you're willing to pay the $3 million price. So we don't care. We want Breece that bad. So that's something we don't know. We sort of informed speculation because Darren Mooney and Aaron Glenn have spoken publicly about wanting Breece Hall. So, like, we take that as truth and say, okay, they really do. So I guess that's a piece of the puzzle. But again, we're going to find out. Again, for folks that are asking, I don't think Breece gets tagged today. I don't know if it's happened because I came in and out. I was doing errands after some articles this morning. So unless I missed the news, he wasn't officially tagged. And I don't imagine it's going to happen tomorrow, the next day, the next day, the next day. The Jets are going to go to the combine. They're going to talk to teams, and figure everything out. I imagine that tag is coming super late in the week of the second week because it's 2 weeks. That's when I believe it's happening. I don't think they're in any rush because you don't get any, as I mentioned earlier, you don't get any bonus points for tagging him tomorrow versus 7 days from now. So I think we're going to wait and find out. But I'm curious to see where we go from here, Woody. It should be fun.
Fun isn't the word that I'm thinking of, but, it should be.
No, different F word.
Not yet. Just interesting. And I really do think, just the little things, AG, obviously fired 9 coaches, accountability, Gibson fumbles, he's gone. I saw Breece fumble and AG put his arm around him, talking to him, I really do think that he is a fan. If he is trying to win games this season, you're not going to, and that's what all these keyboard warriors are not understanding. You're not going to find a Breece replacement you're right now, unless you get Kenneth Walker. Right, you're not finding someone, so you need to do everything in your power to keep him now. Unless they draft Love, that's another thing. If they draft Love, or if somehow they can hypnotize Kenneth Walker to take the worst team in the NFL, those are or you can keep the guy that's only 24. That's a year building.
Yeah, now that you bring up the fumbles, man, Breece, and it is what it is, but he just had some painful fumbles this year. We were there for the Jets-Cowboys game. We're like, oh, wow, this could be a game. And then all of a sudden, the air went out of the building.
We did not think it could be. We was already down by like 17-0.
No. At the end of the first half?
Yeah, what are you talking about? Or was it 10-0? And then Javante had to make it like 17?
So, yeah. So, okay. Let's hindsight in 2020. Breece was about to score. If it was 10-0, then it would have been 10-7.
I mean, he was like 20 yards away, but keep going.
So in the red zone, where you're going to score and make it a one possession game.
How many times should we look up the Jets conversion in the red zone? And you're out here talking about it's a foregone conclusion.
Well, Nick Folk was automatic, so at a bare minimum, it's a one possession game. It's if it's just a field goal, but okay. But the point is, he fumbles and boom, it's 17, and it's there. The Ravens game where Aaron Glenn wraps his arm around Breece Hall, we're in the game at the end. He fumbles it, boop, it's over. Like, he had some pain. It just sucks. It is what it is. Running backs hate. As a former running back that's fumbled before, it is a demoralizing feeling to fumble because none of us want to fumble. And then you go to the sideline and you see the other team cashing on a touchdown. That fucking hurts. That I'm already beating myself up, and I imagine any other running back is too. But like when they it makes you feel even worse. Like, oh my God, I just cost my team. So he's just had a few painful ones. But
Villette.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. I'll answer it before we depart. or we can both answer the question before we depart.
Yeah, where was it? The offensive design question. I'm trying to find
Yeah,
it.
I don't know. Yeah, I did. I scrolled up a little bit, but
Yeah, M. Vallette, if you could do me a solid and just repost it, I'd love to answer whatever your question is, and we could do that for sure. And I want to highlight a Jim CBW one real quick. He says, okay, if you tag Breece Hall, then what do you do next year? Tag you're in again, motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, you could if you're the Jets. If you tag Breece and let's say you play it out, to your point, Breece may be pissed, but Breece is going to be like, I have no other choice. I'm not going to tank my entire career. I will have no other choice but to play on the tag. Let's say he plays on the tag and he balls the bleep out, and the Jets have a choice. Do they sign him long term, which would be possible after a crazy season, or they go, tag you again, prove it again, and tag him again. And he could be even more angry, but so what? You still got to show up and play, and they could tag him again. So that could happen. You're allowed to tag, I believe the rules say up to 3 times in a row, but the third time is so cost prohibitive that it normally never happens because it's 20%, 120%, and then the numbers get to ridiculous. Like Dak Prescott, he couldn't have been franchise tagged because the number would have been 90 million or something ridiculous. So Cowboys couldn't have possibly done it. But they could tag him again. I could see that if he goes crazy.
I see the question here. I do agree. I don't like he might like fake a hammy injury or something. I really have a hard time thinking that Breece is just gonna shuck and jive and just play his heart out for the team. So if Breece is not the focal point of the offense, I think it's the next running back down. I don't think. Right. I mean, depending on who's the QB, obviously. Some QBs are if it's Joe Flacco is trying to throw 60 times a game. So, that's what he would be doing. But if it's, any of the options that we're talking about, I would imagine the next running back down the line is just going to get, a whole bunch of carries per game.
M. Vallette, by the way, you say Breece won't play on the tag this year. Then what is he going to do? He's going to go home, and as he's 24, about to turn 25, he's going to light his 25-year-old season on fire and just not play football? And then what? The Jets are still there at the end of the fucking rainbow a year from now. So what do you think happens if you don't play on the tag? Players may hate it. Hey, NFLPA on the next CBA, work it in to try to get rid of the franchise tag if you can. Like, I don't get what the alternative is. I'm not going to play on the tag. Okay, then what? You're not making any money? Like, no, I don't.
I just said you can play, not be that good. Like, heart's not in it.
But that hurts him.
He never
gets
a take an injury. You can do a whole. They game the system all the time. Literally, you were talking about Hassan Reddick. Not we banking a year with Reddick, and look at him. Like he didn't stay. There are always ways to game the system. The system, rules that they're broken all the time.
Yeah. Okay. So you say that he
bent all the time.
Yeah, sure. But you say like Breece Hall could fake an injury. If he already has an injury-prone history perception with the fan base, and he has another year like that, then what? Like, I just don't think he's going to.
That's the fan base. I don't want to say anything disrespectful, but I literally just said he had one injury and then he's played 15 games.
I know.
This fan base can think what they want. The people who follow the NFL or just like Google, like a Seahawks fan that just Googles, Breece Hall. They look at the numbers and they're not going to reach that conclusion. No one's reaching that conclusion. It is just Jets fans that have made that up in their minds. They seeing ghosts with that situation. So no one thinks that. So he can do that here and still get paid elsewhere.
But again, if he is tagged and nothing else happens, and his choice is play on the tag or sit at home, he is going to play on the tag. NFL wins. The Jets are a multi-billion-dollar organization. They can survive the hit. Breece gets paid nothing. He can't be fined. That's the loophole of being franchise tag. If you don't sign the tender, you're not under contract, so you can't be fined. So he's not going to get lit up with fines. That's a cool loophole in the rules. He's technically not employed, but he can't sign with anybody else. But again, he is in the prime of his career, or hopefully the prime continues to last. There is no way that Breece Hall just lights a year on fire by either not playing or doing some weird, burn the village down sort of. I just don't see that at all happening. There's another question in here. I just want to answer that, and then we can dip here, Wudi. Someone just asked this about Luis. Oh, yeah, here it is. There it is. Holding Breece hostage? You don't feel guilty? Hell no, I don't feel guilty. Every NFL team has a franchise tag. The Jets, if they tag Breece, are not the first team in history to tag a player that isn't so jived about it. Le'Veon Bell, again, we could go through a laundry list of people, and Le'Veon's a bad example because he actually did hold out and then it destroyed his entire career. But there's a lot of other players who were very angry about it and then played. Saquon Barkley, there's an example. He got tagged. He didn't want to be tagged, and he sucked it up and said there was all kinds of words, threatened of this, and guess what? Training camp rolled out. He showed up. So, no, I don't feel guilty at all. If the players don't want it on the next CBA, I've got a suggestion. Fight for it. Say we don't want the damn franchise tag. We want to be able to hit free agency, and there's no way you can stop us. If you're the players, you're gonna have to give up something sizable, like 18 games or something to the NFL. But make sure you fight for it. But as long as it's part of the rules, hell no, I don't feel guilty. Suck it up, Breece. But I don't want to be here. Sucks to suck, buddy. That's the rules.
I have a heart. I'm a human being, so I do feel guilty.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
It stinks, but the reason why I don't lose sleep about it because I know the right thing and purges this organization of all the bums that call themselves coaches right now, right? And then you draft that QB in the top 10 of the 2027 draft. Things can look up for Breece, and Breece could finally be where he's wanted to be from day one, and that's in a winning organization. So Sean McDermott, Mike Tomlin,
okay.
AOC, they can get us there. They can get us there. We just got to endure one more year of trash, bottom of the barrel, endless jokes, NFL memes clowning us. One more year, and then things could look up. So that helps me feel less guilty about Breece potentially being held hostage in the worst organization in all of professional sports.
Super chat here from Lou B, Super Jets fan, baby. Appreciate you as we're wrapping up the program here.
Wow.
Lou, you my guy, but I cannot allow this to happen.
I'm the captain now, just happened with Lou B here on the show. I need to be the GM. I'll handle this Breece trade and get him moved, tag and traded. Lou B is ready for the Breece Hall thing to end. He believes that there's been some mopiness on Breece Hall's part, and that's I hate using the word cancer because it's so obviously negative and has all these connotations, but Luby has suggested that Breece Hall is part of the cancer that Harrison Phillips was talking about, the mopiness, the same old Jets being around losing, and that's infectious in a locker room, and he doesn't want that in the locker room anymore. Luby has made that very clear. Thank you for the $2 super chat about he wants to handle the trade and get Breece out of here. Now, here's the thing. If you believe any of that, if other people do in the audience, the Jets don't meet as a team until April. So the tag and trade thing, you should be able to figure out before then if that is how you do. So Breece Hall won't be back in the locker room if that's the case. If you tag him tomorrow, he's not going to touch the locker room for 2 months. And if you tag him, I imagine he ain't showing up with a bow tie for, voluntary workouts in April. I'm sure he's not going to be there anyway, if that is the case. So
was that Breece? That was Breece or that was Mickey Mouse?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I'll have to do some more info on that, but appreciate that, Luby. So you don't want that to happen. No tag and trade. There you go, buddy.
We need to chill on that. Like I already said, there is no adequate. Luby also wants love, so that would be a replacement. So I can't like Luby's role is probably pretty nice, but it's just not one that I'm ready for it because I need defense in the first 4 picks. But yeah, if Love or Kenneth aren't, on the menu, I really think we gotta try everything we can to keep Breece.
Fair enough. Folks, make sure you like the video. That's a free way to contribute here on the way out. Like the video here on Take Flight Talk and here on @BoyGreen25. We're streaming live in 5 different destinations. That confuses those out in the audience. It shows all over the place, but make sure you show support both for me and my partner in crime over here, James Wudi. Again, he is youtube.com/ Take Flight Talk. And also hit that subscribe button for both of our channels. We're a few subscribers away from 8,390. We continue to grow, baby, and it is incredibly exciting. Wudi, before we dip, of course, why don't you let the people know education on some TFT action?
Well, we're a few subscribers away from 5. So, hey, we trying to grow, man. Honestly, that is a solid growth from when I first started mentioning Take Flight Talk on this show. I had 66. So, you guys have been listening. I've been appreciating everybody that has subscribed, but we got more content coming. Just over the weekend, we had the flagship show, Take Flight Talk. We did talk Breece, but we also got to talk about Kyler Murray and a little bit in depth about the new staff hires that Mark Cicchetti is so high on. I got to say some positive things about some of them because some of them were solid. We got the flagship show. Check that out. This show is literally the best Jet show on all of YouTube. And then, my live reactions when things happen, when things come up. You best believe when a decision is made on Breece that your boy will be producing a video in reaction to that. And remember, it's never about optimism, pessimism, none of that. It's all about the real. I am the truth. Macho, he was joking when he said it, but I'm going to say it for real. In a world full of lies, thank God we got Wudi to tell us the truth.
Well, thank you so much, Wudi, for gracing us with your presence on a week-to-week basis. It is very meaningful. We'll be back on Thursday, folks, for some more Boy Green Meets Wudi action. We're ready to pivot at any breaking news that occurs, but if that news does not hit, we'll continue down our positional breakdowns here and break down how can we improve this team. Here are the Jets free agents that are leaving. Here are the Jet free agents or Jet players that are still on the team. Here are draft options. Here are free agency options. We debate, we chat, we inform, we educate the audience. That's what we try to bring to the table. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. That was a fun show, Wudi.
Absolutely. Can't wait. We're going to keep this train rolling later this week. Another position to break down. Choo-choo, choo-choo. The train is rolling. And you got, the conductors right here, Boy Green and Wudi, laying it down.
Chugga, chugga. Toot, toot. Thanks, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow morning for an episode of Boy Green Daily, and we'll see you guys soon. Can't wait. Thanks, everybody. God bless.